Welcome to another edition of the Willy Bragg Show. I'm your host, Willy Bragg. Just in case you heard in the prelude to the show, like a double sound of what you just heard, I had an extra window open, so it was actually playing at the same time. So that explains that. So, anyway, I'm Willy Bragg. Welcome back to the Willy Bragg Show. And here we have on the chat line Daniel Berry Sports and Highlights. How are you doing, my friend? We have Miguel. Great seeing you here as well. We have Warren. Great seeing you. And we have, let's see, I'm scrolling down. We are having Snipe Hunter. How are you doing? So we have Deep Dish. Oh, I know who you are. How are you doing today, Deep Dish? So anyway, welcome back to the Willy Bragg Show. Tomorrow night we usually have Bragglands at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. But tomorrow night is the VP debate, and Jimmy Sunderland and myself will be broadcasting the debates. But we're going to start at 7:45. Perhaps do an hour show, and we may have a guest. Talk to somebody, waiting for that person to say yes. So there you have it. So it should be fun watching the debates and everything. I might have a drink or two while I'm doing that. So that would be extra fun. So anyway, it I guess I'm repeating myself, but Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, we remember her. We initially supported her. We thought that my God, America's finally developing some common sense, and we're going to have an actual revolution. Nonviolent. I'm going to have to go and make my words clear. So I'm a pacifist, but a revolution in the sense that we were going to go and change the way things are in this country. That's what we were hoping for with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I was excited by her. I defended her for many years against not just corporate Democrats, but right-wing Republicans. And occasionally some ultra left, what I felt like would be ultra left zealots at that time, saying, "Well, she's still part of the system," or what have you. Well, the so-called ultra zealots may have had a point. Notice that the Republicans don't really attack her the way they used to attack her. If they attack her as just another Democrat. They used to attack her like she was some kind of neo-Maoist or something. And that's obviously not the case. And corporate Democrats were a little troubled by her because she was originally raising the ruckus or trying to raise a ruckus, but that ruckus didn't last very long. And so, and it took me a little while, took me a little longer than perhaps most people here in the chat line and in my audience to say, AOC is a fraud. And I would say, for my personal testimony about that, I would say it happened to me somewhere between forced to vote, her rejecting it, and basically busting a rail worker strike in late 2022. It took me to that long, and now I don't expect anything productive out of her. She pretty much will go and tell you how bad a bill is being presented to Congress, and she would be right, and she will make passionate speeches that one can help but agree with. Having that said, she ends up sometimes voting for the bill or voting present. That's been her pattern. And the Democrats don't mind her these days, because whenever she makes those passionate speeches, it's usually Republicans bad. Well, we all know that. We know the Republicans are bad. That's not a news flash. I don't vote Republican. I never plan to vote Republican. The Republican Party has nothing to offer me. And I some people will. There are people out there that think that I attack Democrats more than I do Republicans. And there are some people actually out there that thinks that I'm a Democrat hack in spite of my independent politics. They're like, "Oh, you Democrats are all the same." And honestly, I wish that the Democratic Party had their act together, so I wouldn't have to go, and it would make my life a little bit easier if the Democrats were doing just doing better than they obviously are, because they're pretty bad. But I will make this claim. As much as I beat up on the Democrats, the Republican Party is always going to be worse, in my opinion. So, because it took Republicans to force Democrats to go and adopt their softer measures from 20 and 30 years ago. You see what happened with Dick Cheney endorsing Kamala Harris. And the Democrats are having an orgasm over this. They shouldn't be having that orgasm. What has happened is basically what's happening is that the Democrats will listen to what Dick and Liz Cheney have to say. This is what the Democrats want. They want somebody that's perceived as moderate, even though they're hard right. They were considered hard right prior to Trump. They were the toast of Rush Limbaugh 20 years ago, and the toast of Rush Limbaugh now are typical Democrats. The country's gone further to the right, and despite what some people say, when you're going around embracing Dick and Liz Cheney, the Democrats have gone to the right. AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and and of course the squad. The extended squad just got a little bit smaller this past year in the primary battles. But the thing about it is that the squad turned out to be not that impressive. In fact, they turned out to be a failure. Cenk Uyghur will be more reticent to admit it. He knows it. Kyle Kalinske at least recognizes it, and he knows what he needs to do. He doesn't need to go into the TYT. And I'm not trying to sit there beat up on factionalism, but when you're overtly getting on board with the TYT, David Pakman, Sam Cedar left, what you're doing is saying you're getting back to the Democrats fighting inside the Democratic Party the way it was being done prior to Bernie Sanders running in 2016. And I'm not saying that you have to go and be 100% independent 100% of the time and all of this. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is choose your battles that you can win, where I would say that electoral alliances probably won't matter, but it's a way of promoting the left. There are things that we can do. I mean, like activism projects like Stopping Sun City, Cop City. I'm sorry, Sun City's in South Africa during the apartheid era. Cop City, same thing. Cop City. There are things that we can do out there. The anti-war protests right now. The anti-war protests is going to get bigger, and it started with the Ukraine-Russian war. And now it's with Gaza. And it's going to probably extend to places like Iran and obviously with Lebanon. The anti-war movement needs to revitalize itself and be the way it was prior to Obama winning. And we're not getting cooperation from the squad on these issues. We're not getting cooperation from the Democrats, and we're not even getting that much cooperation from Bernie Sanders these days. And all of that's problematic. But let's talk about AOC a little more, because this is the thing. She's not popular in her district, but that's the district she's got. As long as she's kind of like, I hate to say it, and I used to be mad when people make the comparison, but it makes sense. She's basically the Marjorie Taylor Greene of the left, in the sense that she is the perceived ideologue firebrand, except that AOC is not going to be violent. Is the big difference. So that is the big difference right there. So with AOC, she's basically, quote unquote, the left's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Except for the fact that she's got good ideas that she refuses to pursue. It's not that her ideology is bad, but her strategy is. And she got used to the cocktail parties. She got used to the press, giving her positive thumbs up and all of that. And I like in the video that you're about to see, I agree with the co-host of Generational Change, Peter, that AOC has aspirations for higher office, but she's not going to get anywhere. And she's not going to get anywhere because, because it's New York State, It is New York State, and being in New York State, you're not going to get anywhere by taking down Chuck Schumer. It's not going to happen. She's not going to be a U.S. senator. She's not going to be governor. And oh my God, there are people out there talking about having her being president one of these days. Even when I supported her in the early days, I was like, well, she's not quite ready for that. And now I'm for damn certain sure she's not ready for that. And to even entertain that is ridiculous. So anyway, Jen Perelman, as you know, ran against Debbie Wasserman Schultz for office in the 25th Congressional District in Florida. This is her second time doing this. She did this in 2020, so I found out about her. And if y'all know who Debbie Wasserman Schultz is, you would know why I absolutely despise Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Chelsea Clinton meets a Cocker Spaniel. That's how I describe Debbie Wasserman Schultz. But I don't mind making fun of people when people are shitty. So that's what it comes down to. And so Jen Perelman and Peter Hagar thought that there was a window or a way to defeat her in the primaries. And it makes sense to what they described and everything. It's just unfortunate it didn't happen. So it's basically the system. The system is rigged to favor the establishment. The system is rigged to keep troublemakers, quote unquote, out of the system. And that's how it is. And some people say, you can't have a third party until we change how things are and when things are getting good. But if things are good, then what's the use of having a third party? You have a third party to basically send a message. But also, if by the grace of God you get elected, to actually do something. And third parties, anything that's ever been good about the United States in the last 100 years was because there were third parties involved. There were movements outside the two-party system, movements that spawned the trade union movement to make them stronger during the New Deal era of the 1930s. We're talking about the Socialist Party of Eugene Debs doing his thing, advocating for a lot of things that we take for granted today. Social Security, the 8-hour workday, things of that nature. Seems kind of small, but they were big in many ways. The 40-hour work week, which I will like to shrink to 32 hours while keeping your 40-hour pay. That's the next thing that we need to do. And so a lot of the gains from the New Deal and a lot of the gains from the Great Society even took place because there were movements outside the two-party system championing these things. Even goes back to that. I mean, the women seeking the vote, or whether they're talking about the abolition of slavery, the Republican Party started off as a third party initially. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as the third party versus two-party system debate. I don't vote shame in 2024. You want to vote for the two-party system, and you think that's the best path to get where you need to go, I'm not going to vote shame. But I ask for people not to vote shame people who are so exasperated with the two-party system. And I have ran my mouth too damn long. So we'll get to the video at hand, and I'll comment along the way. So hold tight. And I hope everybody's doing well. I see on the chat line, I see around the world with D and Friends is here. Dr. Nick Riviera is here. Let's see who else is here. Ed Hiller is here. Sky Warp is here. How are y'all doing today? And if I miss anybody, I'm going to make sure you are mentioned. So my apologies if I scroll fast and overlook somebody by mistake. I don't do that on purpose, I promise. So here we go. Here's the video from the other day. Jen Perelman and Peter Hagar basically saying it like it is about AOC. In a moment. What's up, PHS Cisco? And what's up, Kamashwari Kate? Trying to get the video. I was doing that yesterday too. Let me do this real quick. Jesus Christ. Come on now. Oh no. Come on, come on, come on. Shit. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Oh my goodness. Okay. We were over here earlier today. Come on, come on. Come on. I'm so sorry, folks. I'm going to get to that video in a moment. I'll tell you how we're going to get there. We'll get there pretty fast. Give me a second. Oh, I know how we can get there. Give me a second. We got it. We got it. We got it. I'll just go on my Facebook page because I forwarded earlier today. Or yes, was it yesterday? We'll get to the bottom of this. I had it set up and it was. Hold on. I got some scrolling I got to do. I was on Facebook quite a bit today, so there is that. But anyway, what I'm basically trying to say is that that Jen Perelman and Peter Hagar basically took AOC to task. And I thought I could do it through here real quick. Aha. Okay, I found the video, so hopefully it'll work this time. My apologies to everyone. When I get this video going underway, I am going to go and turn on the air conditioner. So I'll be walking away from here at the desk at the moment. So. Okay. Give me a second. Damn it. I think I'm not a superstitious person, but I think there are forces out there that wants to not let me do this professionally. Why? I don't understand this. I'm scrolling it back to the beginning. I am so sorry for that long lapse. Okay, here we go.
I do not like discussing and or giving airtime to congressional partisan political hackery and this kind of drama bullshit. But he wants to cover the AOC thing. So again, I don't give her grace anymore. I did for a really long time. I really have no grace for her anymore. Yeah, I have no grace for her anymore. But I just would assume just not even discuss her.
Now, if you're going to go out and make a statement today, effectively saying that you're in favor of censorship, that is a very dangerous place to be, because AOC has a very large platform and a lot of influence, despite what some people may think. She's not as popular as she thinks she is, but she does have a lot of followers, and they do listen. So this is the statement she made this afternoon.
Do you think that several members of Congress in some of my discussions have brought up media literacy, because that is a part of what happened here. And we're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation.
You mean like what you do?
It's one.
You mean like what you do?
If you're going to use that word, and when you're talking about reining in the media, I mean, you're somebody who basically was only able to get to Congress because people were gracious enough to put you, sure, JD, you know, but again, this is what happens when you're very politically ambitious, and she is.
Good luck to her with that.
Just as I talked about with Jordan on Status Quo this evening, Dana Nessel is very politically ambitious, and she wants to be the next governor of Michigan.
Good luck with that.
AOC wants to either be the next senator from New York or president of the United States.
And yet has not the balls to challenge Chuck Schumer.
Okay. So far, I want to tell you where I stand on everything that was said. First, the censorship part. I mean, if AOC would fight as hard for Medicare for all as she does for censorship, I mean, I'm not going to say we're going to get Medicare for all, but I know I would be supporting her still to this day, at the very least. He hardly ever mentions Medicare for all anymore. And Peter is right. And I said that earlier, but Peter was right what he said. She wants to be a senator from New York State, but the thing is, Chuck Schumer, who I think we all agree is a fucking asshole, piece of shit, establishment as establishment can get. He's a powerhouse, and I think the primaries would be very contentious, and I think she would actually give him a scare, but he will ultimately win if there's a primary battle. And the thing about AOC, the only good that she's actually, the only good she's providing right now, there is one good she is providing, and it's not enough, is that Chuck Schumer currently would be a shittier senator than he already is. She is preventing him from being he's now slightly less shitty because of her. It doesn't mean that she's wonderful. It just he has this projection about AOC that he has to kind of, within reason, try to go and keep a base that could potentially go to AOC, keep them kind of content. So in that regard, if you want to talk about breadcrumbs, she's providing breadcrumbs by pushing Schumer to the left. But it's not enough. It's not even nowhere near enough. That's no reason to support AOC at this point. Also, I do agree she probably would love to be president. But again, look what they did to Bernie. Look what they did in the primaries to Marianne Williamson, whatever we may think of Marianne Williamson. Well, look what they did to Dean Phillips, who was a pretty damn centrist Democrat that tried to take try to dip his toes into a more progressive direction. Look what they did to Robert Kennedy. They basically turned the man into a Republican. I mean, I don't understand Republicans sometimes when they talk about Democrats being evil and all that. They ought to love the Democrats, because the way the Democrats do their shit, they turn other Democrats into Republicans, and they sit there and they gobble up all the boomer conservative bullshit that you hear on right wing media and all of that, and just because AOC is a little bit animated in her rhetorical style and everything, people think that the Democratic Party has taken a hard left turn, which no such a thing. As I said earlier in the beginning, the Democrats now are kind of Reagan in the 90s. The Democratic Party now is where Dick Cheney was 20 years ago when Rush Limbaugh was sucking his dick all the time on the radio. Ew. But anyhow, and her censorship thing is very offensive. It is very offensive. It's a bad optics for the left, and it just makes her look like the weak, pathetic person that she is, because she is weak and pathetic.
So
she doesn't have the balls to challenge anything.
No, but I'm just so disgusted with this whole thing right now. And I really would like to start, I like how Butch Ware refers to her, and I think we need to start calling her AOCP.
You heard that. And I would love to start that hashtag AOCP. And I will do a spoiler alert. It's a play on the letters. If you listen to it, sounds like you're crossing AOC with Nancy Pelosi. AOCP. She's turning into Nancy Pelosi.
Do you know how Butch Ware? You know who Butch Ware is?
AOCP.
AOCP. Because he calls her AOC Pelosi. No.
Oh, AOC Pelosi.
He calls her AOC Pelosi.
Okay.
And so I think we need to start calling her AOCP, because this kind of ridiculous, authoritarian empire representative shit is, as far as I'm concerned, you might as well just put the black helmet on her. She's now Darth Vader. Just pass the fucking lightsaber.
And who is putting her up to this? I want to know who is in her inner circle
the
that is saying
of the AOCP.
You really think she's that close?
I think that she is gunning for that position. I think she knows that her way is to get in the good graces of Nancy Pelosi, because at the end of the day, that is still the rainmaker. And so that is the person who determines who gets money from the DCCC. That is the person who decides who gets to stay and who gets to go, and who gets what positions and what committees. And yeah, I do. I think that she is a suck up to her. That is what I think now.
I think she's just doing whatever she thinks she has to do in order to.
But that's the thing. So,
and it's true, because when the Iron Dome came to a vote, AOC initially voted against it, and then Nancy Pelosi came over there and pecked at her like the drunken Karen that she is, and gave her a piece of her mind. So AOC went back and took her no vote against the Iron Dome and turned that into an abstain vote. So she abstained at her vote, and she was apparently crying doing this. So, and she's great for acting. So she cried when the cages over the cages by the border, because it was Trump's cages apparently, except that it wasn't. It was Obama cages. And the dirty little secret that, I mean, we know this, but we need to let people know. When you hear the Republican right and even some Reagan Democrats saying, well, the Democrats just want to open their border. Usually when Democrats are president, this is not a good thing per se, but usually they round up more immigrants and send them back to the other side than when it happens under the Republicans. You're hearing them saying, we didn't have a migration crisis under Trump, except there was a migration crisis. And to me, I don't see it as a crisis. I see it as a dilemma of American foreign policy. And so I tell these people who are like hardcore anti-immigration, you don't want people coming here? Here's the thing. United States need to leave Latin America alone. Stop bullying these countries in Latin America. Stop drone striking every Middle Eastern country out there. Remember the Syrian immigrants? But here's the average politician. We want to keep them out of this country, but we will drone strike them anyway. And they come here, we're going to express how ugly we are with our bigotry. And so that's what we're stuck with, I mean, look what they're doing in Venezuela. Look what they did to Cuba for many years. Look what they did to Jamaica for many years. Look what they did to Chile. And even in the first world, like a country like New Zealand, they'll just poison their prime minister, the CIA. Norman Kirk was poisoned by the CIA in 1974. I would just check out on his life. He was opposed to nuclear weapons testing in the South Pacific. And the CIA were like, oh, no, we're not having this. So it's a rumor. It's a rumor. But it's a rumor that I believe took place. Personally believe took place. So anyway, we'll let these two talk about AOC some more.
So she is now AOCP.
One thing to have differing opinions, but it's another thing entirely to just say things that are false.
So you don't believe in the First Amendment. You do not believe in the right to say what you want to say.
No. And here's the ultimate problem when it comes to her. And this is really what it comes down to. And I honestly do not care how obnoxious this sounds. I really don't. She's just not that bright.
I don't take her seriously.
She's just not that bright.
She doesn't come, like, when you listen to Rashida speak, when you listen to Ilhan speak, hell, when you listen to Gavin Newsom speak, there is a level of gravitas that comes with it.
She comes off like a college-age TikToker.
Okay. Here's what I got to say about this. I do not think that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is dumb. I do think she's ditzy. So maybe it's a little harsh to say I don't think she's that bright, but I would certainly go along and say this about AOC. She's a little ditzy. I mean, she's, in other words, in my view, she's a damn kid. I mean, she's immature, and she shows it quite a bit. Making comments like, I know the Republicans are being assholes at her at one time, and she made some comments, but well, they just want to go and date me, that sort of thing. I mean, it's a cute little comeback and all that, but I mean, it just makes her look like a drama queen and all of that, and so she's just very hard to take seriously, like Peter says. She is very hard to take seriously. So I just don't put too much stock into AOC these days. I am going to go back to the video in just a second. But I will. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a video about misinformation real fast, and a very short clip about misinformation, and it definitely applies. So this is a shoe on head video about misinformation, and I happen to agree with what she has to say about misinformation. So take it away, June. As soon as it comes up.
Who is deciding what and what isn't misinformation? Google, Facebook, Twitter? You want Elon Musk deciding what is misinformation? The government? The American government? You want the American government to decide what is true and what isn't for you? You want them to wipe your ass too? You little baby? Little here comes the airplane looking motherfucker? Like, yeah, the government and billionaire run corporations have never been wrong. What? Are you listening to yourself? Now, some people will see this video and they'll be like, shoo, are you really defending people who post misinformation and hate speech and are toxic online? Yes. Because that's what free speech is. Like Noam Chomsky said, if we don't believe in freedom of expression for people we despise, we don't believe in it at all. Who is deciding?
One thing I don't like about the YouTube short videos, they are in a loop. So, when they play it, and it's like plays it in the beginning. So sorry about that, folks. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm with you on head on this. I'm a free speech absolutist. And sometimes I hate misinformation. I hate propaganda, conspiracy theories, and I hear plenty of it all the time. And I just want to sit there and refute it to hell. But here's the thing. If we go and basically attack misinformation in a way that our government officials and elected officials are trying to attack it, all that's going to do is just drive that shit underground and make it more sexy for people. I mean, they didn't do any. Alex Jones got more popular because they took him down. They took him down all across social media, just about. And honestly, he's not even the worst of misinformation. I mean, in fact, I think Fox News, as normal as they appear next to Alex Jones, is more information that comes out of there than comes out of Alex Jones's mouth. But at least there's a hard 20% where he's anti-war and seemingly on the side of civil liberties, which you will never get from Fox News. You'll never get from Newsmax. You'll never get from One American News Network. And it's getting to the point you're not going to even get that from CNN or MSNBC today. So there's that. Not that I'm saying that Alex Jones is the source to go to. I listen to Alex Jones for shits and giggles and to laugh at most of the time. But the point is, misinformation is what I'm trying to say. When you try to do this against what you perceive as misinformation, it ends up driving it more underground and sexier to the public. And here's the thing, another angle to this. And AOC ought to realize this. Because I'm assuming, she was very young, but I'm assuming that she thought that the Iraq War was a bad idea. And if you think the Iraq War was a bad idea, imagining having social media the way it is today. Imagine having social media as it is today back in 2002. Just after 9/11, you had your Facebook, you had Twitter, we didn't have those things yet, but I'm just saying, what if we had all this at that time? We had a YouTube, we had a Twitter, we had a Facebook, we had we have a MySpace, we have all these things that was out there, and people were doing the social media thing about 7 or 8 years before it became a big thing in the early 2000s. What if somebody out there was saying, hey, there are no weapons of mass destruction. Saddam Hussein does not have a relationship with Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. You know what? Knowing the Bush-Cheney people the way that they are, in spite of the Republicans saying they're all for free speech, in which they're not, they'd have been shutting that down as quickly as they could. Yes, they would. They would have been shutting down this information, and they would have been through social media very loudly calling the critics of the upcoming Iraq War as, you just wanted the terrorists to win. You're pro-terrorism kind of attitude. So free speech needs to be protected and includes ugly speech, whether it's misinformation, whether it's propaganda, whether it's conspiracy theories, because the best way to take it down is for it to be in the public where you can actually go and have people fighting it properly. I make no apologies about that. The best way to defeat misinformation, the best way to defeat lies and propaganda is to take them on. We're the left. Our ideas are better than the other side. Our ideas are superior to the corporate Democrats. Our ideas are superior to MAGA Republicans. Our ideas superior to just about everybody out there that's to our right. Our ideas are better. They're superior. it's truthful and it works. And if we can face them, we would defeat them. So we have to go and take them on the way they need to be taken on. And AOC is fucking wrong.
That's it. And she doesn't come up to me. I'm just saying, I've never found her to be incredibly bright. So who knows what information she gives. I know she's probably surrounded by a whole bunch of sycophantic tools who probably give her whatever information they give her.
If there is one thing that Alex definitely seems like to me, she is almost like a mirror image of somebody like Trump, in the sense that she has to have people around her that constantly tell her how great she is and how intelligent she is and how she's right about everything that she does.
That's mostly true, but what's also very true about how similar Trump and AOC are would be the fact that Trump used the media, the actual regular media, and to some extent social media to get his message across in 2015, 2016. And AOC in 2018 pretty much used social media as an influencer of sorts. And so they both have that in common, strangely enough.
That criticism is not valid, that her way is the right way, instead of saying, you know, Alex, maybe this isn't such a good idea. No, I don't think she gets that type of criticism.
Here's the thing, Steve. She's not Darth Vader. She's just a social democrat doing what they always do. Okay, but she is using her power for evil.
And she's got power.
She's using her power for evil. She is now simping for a party that's okay with genocide. She's gaslighting people. She is now sitting there promoting censorship. So yeah, she's crossed over to the dark side. I think it is very safe to say that she has crossed over to the dark side.
She has the power to actually make a difference right now. She's in like a plus 30D district. So there's nothing that's going to happen to her and her seat. You know, she could actually be standing and using her soapbox right now.
Have a spine.
To talk about how we cannot go forward as a party if we do not stop the genocide.
Which is what I was saying is I don't know who she's surrounded with, who she listens to, but I've never found her, and I've never found her to be very bright. So when you're not that bright and you're also like wanting all of this stuff, so I don't know what she believes, what she knows, what she's told to do. And the fact that we can't discern amongst those things, therein is the problem.
Yeah.
Therein is the problem. But I also feel like with Kamala, I don't think Kamala even picks out her own clothes. So I think that there's just some people that they don't have a position. They just go like, they're like amorphous. They're like, although Octopus is really smart.
Not going to argue with you, VJ, but
he looks like a used car salesman.
Have you ever heard Governor Pritzker give a speech? Like, you have to understand.
Definitely luxury cars, though, because he still wears really nice suits.
Yeah. Like, you cannot deny that there is something. When you hear certain people talk, and you can understand why people gravitate to them. That doesn't mean that they're good, but you have to recognize that.
Oh, yeah.
Alex doesn't have that.
Like people like Obama.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Everybody who has ever met him has said the same thing. It's not right. So yeah, no, there's certain people, but that doesn't mean that they're quality people. It doesn't mean that they're not just friggin' snake oil salesmen that are just slicker.
Yeah, I can't really say there's anything that I really terribly disagree with what they said. I think they're pretty much spot on their take on AOC. And I am seeing a reference to Blue Moon Red Wine, and I wish I had the video clip, but as most of y'all know already, that she actually challenged AOC at a town hall about almost 2 years ago. It was really, really, really base seeing her yelling at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because I mean, she fucking deserved it. She fucking deserved it. I mean, when it's actually right-wing assholes picking on AOC for bullshit reasons, I'm inclined to then maybe defend her a little bit, but as a general rule, she's not worth defending anymore because she's not with us. She's not with us. and we want, we kind of want to support her. But if she's not going to support our issues, then what the hell are we doing supporting her? And I know there are still good people out there that they have this kind of this weird notion that AOC is still fighting for us, and she's not, and she won't. Let me put it this way: Tony Blair, a man that I despise, the former Prime Minister of Great Britain, when he was a Labour MP in the the Sheffield constituency, I think it was. At least in the 80s, he acted more like a socialist than AOC did in Congress. She sold out quicker than Tony Blair. What does that tell you? She sold out quicker than Tony Blair. And I'm with Kashama Sawant when she said that AOC and other squad members need to be kicked out of DSA. Well, if one believes in DSA, I've been in DSA. I'm not a member currently. If one believes in DSA. And so, although I understand that AOC, the endorsement for AOC has been rescinded by DSA. If that's wrong information, I apologize, but I believe that the DSA refused to endorse her. And they would be right that'll be a positive thing for them if that's the case. So anyway, I just if you're on the left and you feel isolated when you criticize AOC or has issues with AOC, remember that you're not alone. You're not alone in being frustrated with her. And I really don't want to do this video. I really don't. It doesn't do me any good other than to just state the obvious. I mean, I would love to have an AOC video where I'm actually praising her and praising Bernie and praising the squad, or even some generic Democrat that they're doing something that they should be doing. I would love to nothing more than do that. Look, if a Republican was doing something positive for working people, I would sing their praises as well. I don't care what party you belong to. If you're doing the right thing, you're doing the right thing. But AOC has been one constant disappointment after the other. And if she's online right now, she happens to stumble across this video here, my message to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is this. It's the same message I had toward Tulsi Gabbard. I want my $10 back. I want my $10 back. So there you have it. I have to go to work in a little bit, but I will say my hellos to everybody before I go. And I'll give y'all my announcements and all that good stuff. So we have here, let's see. All right. We're going to scroll down a little bit. And we're at, let's see. Okay, I saw you and I saw you. Let's see. Oh, at PHS Cisco, I saw you earlier. Let's see. I saw Kashama Wari Kate. I saw you earlier. And if I mispronounced your name, I apologize. We have Blue Moon Red Wine. And how are you doing today? I'm glad to see you streaming again, like on a regular basis. At the odd hour, but I'm like, oh, cool. She's live streaming. So there is that. Let's see. All right. If I would have known you would have been online earlier, I would have asked if she got that video clip of you yelling at AOC. Claude, let's see. Claude Vidar said all leftists believe in censorship. I'm going to say bullshit, bullshit, and bullshit. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Desert Mantis. Great seeing you. And you said Willy can't see me. Willy can't see me. Okay. We have hold on a second here. We are going to go and Saku Odo. What's up, y'all? Warren says, AOCP sounds like some sort of made up disease they sell you drugs for on an old episode on the old people's channel. Yep. And she is making a lot of us sick. All right. We have, okay. Let me see what you got to say here. PH Cisco said, I do agree that there should be penalties against government workers who knowingly lie to the citizens. Make that a law first, and then we will talk. There's a lot of people in government that have to be in prison, tell you the truth. All right. Chuck Intergalactic UFO Show says she is a naive CIA puppet. If she is, she's unknowingly. But it's still, or maybe she's smarter than we think, and she could be. I don't know. Controlled opposition, I guess. But Lagrisi says, hi, Willie, and good peeps. Let's see here. All right. I'm kind of pressed for time, so I want to make sure everybody's taken care of. I don't miss out on anyone here. Missing 411 says here, Tim Walsh, DEI hire. Yeah, I don't like to use that word. I mean, I'm not criticizing you, but I don't like to use the word DEI because it's starting to be used way too much. And some people, when some people say it, it's a disguised dog whistle meaning. And so I personally am squeamish about using the term DEI. Just it's a me thing, just a me thing. So there's that. So, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give y'all my announcements real quick. And I got to sign off because I got to go to work. But the big announcement is tomorrow at 7:45 p.m. instead of at 5 p.m. We will have Bragglands. It'll be 4:45 on the West Coast. If you live in between the East and West, I guess let's do a little bit of math there. We'll have Bragglands, and we'll probably do an hour show of the regular Bragglands, and then we'll watch the debate and give our gut reaction. Sounds like fun. If you like what you heard, and I want to let you know that Willy Bragg Show is on, or tries to be on, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 8 p.m. And Bragglands normally at 5 on Tuesday, but we're going to have it at a different time. 7:45 Eastern time, 4:45 Pacific for the VP debate. So if you like what you heard, please press like and comment any way you disagree with what I have to say. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As the First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are the muckrakers of our time. We are. And remember to subscribe to the Willy Bragg Show here on YouTube, and subscribe to all the other platforms I belong and all that. And remember to fully pardon Ed Snowden, fully pardon Julian Assange, free Palestine, free healthcare for all, free speech absolutism, let it rain. And I am out of here. Y'all take care. You will see me soon. Bye-bye.